Hello, this is Decoherent, and welcome back to some more Torment Tides of Numenera. So, things are going along swimmingly. We finally made our transition out of the scary endless gate and wandered around a little more, found a nifty Mirrorcaster that we can't use, and ended up here in Malvest. And excitingly, we came here via teleporter, and it looks like we'll be able to go back and forth between here and other realms, so that will be super convenient. So we poked around a little bit. We also got some positive news about our quest to hopefully find a doctor for Eridus, given that we had a dialogue option to ask him, so that's good. What else were we doing? Well, we're just basically going to walk around and talk to everyone. Saw some updates. Let's see here. So we spoke with the Daris. Yes. Yes, I could speak to him, but she wants to poke around in my head. We'll see. I mean, obviously we're going to have to, but that can wait a few minutes. Let's do these up. Let's do these here real quick. Stat pools, effort, or skill. What kind of skills would you have? Ugh. You're so bad. You're so bad. I don't know. Or stat pool. What does her stuff use? See, Innervate uses intellect, but it's the whole uses per day that's the problem. She can go into stealth. I don't remember if that takes anything. I think that takes intellect. Yeah, let's increase her int, just because that's something that she's using, and I can't increase her might, which would be nice. Let's put one into int and one into speed. Yeah, sure. And Tiber. This is exciting. Okay. So we've got stat pools. Edge might be nice. Already got 4 to effort. That's nice. So skills are nothing interesting. For abilities, what we have... Ooh, we could tier up Sucker Punch. That is what we're going to do. Yes. So trained... You get plus 15%. What do we get from having 2 points in it? Let's find out. Oh, plus 30%. Oh, that's nice. That'll save us a whole bunch of our might pool. Excellent. Okay, that's pleasing. I don't know what causes this constant high-pitched whining, but it seems to happen almost every time I start this game. So, I don't know. Very frustrating. Ooh, look at these pretty things. Okay, well, let's continue our conversation here that we were having with Adaris. She has much to say, and we'd only just begun. Let's see here. Well, tell me more about yourself. I keep the peace here in Malvest. Our sire brought the Jagged Dream to Sagus Cliffs in my body. Did you know that? The Jagged Dream? Huh. She shakes her head. The conflict they seek to start, the wars, I swore that I would make no deaths in my lifetime, make no pain. I came here in the wake of the first death, and her loyalists were at the throats of our sires. I brought peace to them. They agreed that we would make Malvest a sanctuary again. That is my achievement, and my legacy. The Jagged Dream? Why do I not know what that is? Well, let's ask her about why she'd feel guilty about it. True, and yet, the Jagged Dream knew me under a name and a history that wasn't my own. The killers, the haters, the ones who wanted to see blood and death, they would tell me of their schemes. They wanted my approval. Any action on my part, they took as such. She stares down at her hands. I have never taken a life, but the blood stains me. I can't feel that again. Ever. I gotta go look back, because I've forgotten what that is. Sorry. So, why are you in charge of Malvest? Why, no one did. I saw the need and forged the peace myself. I saw a path to avoid the bloodshed and set my feet upon it. With my end goal in mind, those who would oppose me saw that I had set my ideals and would not deviate from them. And since my plan did not involve exalting myself over them, did not put them at a disadvantage, who could say no? Indeed, I am in charge only insofar as they allow it. They are the ones who enforce the peace. I just speak of it. It's good to lead from behind, I suppose. So let's talk about the cast-offs here for a moment. So what can you tell me about Maelevest? The name comes from a language predating our creator. It means Stone of Wonders. He and the first created our sanctuary jointly, sitting it in this plateau because the devices they found proved uniquely suited to create a sanctuary and to power the shields that protect us. Oh, that's interesting. They brought more of us here. The elders hid from the shadow, or retreated here from the cares of the world. They built homes, laboratories, and more. The shields protected them from the sorrow's gaze. But when the first and the changing god struggled, that all fell apart. The peace of Maelevest was shattered, and those who remained chose sides. Blood spilled on the great disk. Factions fought for control of the wisdom gained here. She shakes her head. Such a waste. It was not until after the first death, and my arrival, that we were able to resecure peace. And so we once again have a sanctuary for any cast-off. She looks sideline at your companions. And their, occasional guests. Would that we had not closed the doorways, though. Whether the sorrow is truly more active or not, there are undoubtedly others who would wish to find safety here. She shakes her head. I accept responsibility for the closure. Those who chose to leave, have left, and I wish the rest safety. That's interesting. Well, good news, we've already reopened one of the portals. So what can you tell me about the last cast-off? She died a few years after I was born. A pity. I wish that I could have spoken with her, to understand her drive and passion. She honestly thought that she would serve us all, and sometimes I ask myself what she might do in a situation when two of our brothers are fighting. She shrugs, and then I remember that so many have died fighting in her war, and my respect vanishes. I would have loved to speak with her to help her find another way, but alas. Let's talk about the changing god. What do you think of him? Have you seen him? Do you know where he is? That's quite a list. What would you prefer to address first? Have you seen him recently? She laughs. Never, to my knowledge. Perhaps I have, and he never revealed himself. It would be very like him to gather his intelligence and then be away. We regard every new cast-off with the suspicion that he or she might truly be our creator, and frequently a new cast-off will pretend to be. But we find the truth one way or another, and our sire continues to live in a way that we do not fully understand. That's weird. So what do you think of him? A brilliant man, thoughtful, charismatic, a mind greater than any the Ninth World has seen. Where the Aeon priests of today cobble together bits and pieces of Numenera, our creator was a visionary. Were it not for the sorrow, I honestly believe he would lift us into a new age of human achievement. She shrugs. He's also systematically destroyed every relationship he ever built. He does not seem to understand human frailty or emotion. Nope, let me rephrase that. He understands these things well enough to exploit them in others, but does not accept their reality, if you understand what I mean. More plainly, he's a selfish man who grows ever more disconnected with his inferiors every year. She purses her lips. His life is a tragedy. It truly is. I'm still thinking that the sorrow is a side effect of his eternal life thing. I bet I'm wrong, but that's kind of an interesting thought. So what do you know of his history? Much of it has been deliberately obscured, and much he has rewritten, either to make himself seem a better man, or to keep his enemies from finding him. But I can provide you with the broad strokes if you wish. I do. Adiris closes her eyes, recalling. He saved the city of Sagas Cliffs from the Tabat, and it was after their siege that he focused so heavily on mental transference techniques, although we do not know why. He was successful in his attempts, obviously, and this is the first record we have of the sorrow in modern times. Yup, totally. She taps her fingers on her lips. He traveled to another world, or dimension, and I have heard that this is where the first was born. His studies in the tides ran deep. He claims to have spent lifetimes exploring them, and when he had mastered them, he destroyed the Tabat utterly. He brought the Order of Truth to Sagas Cliffs, and sought to keep knowledge alive by creating the Dendro Ahur. That's weird. His life has been about the creation or preservation of wisdom. She shakes her head. But to what end? There seems to be no pattern or goal. He does not seem to build for humanity, but for his own legacy? Should we emulate this? Again, this is so suspicious. The creation of the first, the sorrow. Okay. Let's see here. So, what do you know about the tides? I've studied them. What else can I do when I'm not trying to keep the peace here? The first and our sire used Maelevest as their sanctuary, after all. Although the remaining notes are cryptic or piecemeal, I have learned enough to believe that it is our use of the tides that draws the sorrow to us. Ha! Each of us has access to a broader tidal power, the tidal surges, as you have no doubt discovered. But I choose not to use mine, and I have seen no sign of the sorrow. Uh-huh. I recognize that this is not a logical conclusion. The sorrow might not yet hunt me for reasons are unknown, but I am content to know that at least I harm no one else with my body. She has a tiger-repelling rock. A smile flickers. Melmoth knows more, as he is eager to tell us at every opportunity. He has made certain to use every tool at his disposal in an effort to preserve and understand our lives, but I do not believe he has made an extensive study of the sorrow's motivations. Interesting. Well, if we're going to go any further, gotta let her poke around in my head. Not real happy about this. Alright, go ahead. This will take but a moment. She places gentle fingers on your forehead, and you feel a swirl of color thrill your innermost core. A kaleidoscope of emotion shakes you, a gamut of experiences recognized and echoed, magnified and reflected. When she removes her hand, her eyes are wet with tears. Forgive my doubt, brother. I believe you now. I believe you are capable of changing reality. She holds up a slender finger. But if anything, this makes me more leery of handing you a brother's Mirrorcaster. If you wish to speak to Mazoff, you must prove to me that you can be entrusted with the minds of one of our brethren. You cured Makina, but did you understand Tash? Did you take care of his innermost self as well? Before I can give you this Mirrorcaster, I would have you speak with Melmoth. Okay.
I know you're busy, but could we talk?
Oh, hold on a second, kiddo. It is my contention that we draw the sorrow to us with our abuse of the tides, which is why I do not use our tidal powers. I believe that our use of these powers is inherently painful to those around us. For instance, was anyone with you when you awoke to consciousness? Yeah, 2 people. An Eon priest named Aligarn and a nano named Castellage. They were arguing as I woke. I'd wager any simmering tension snapped into sharp focus. If they were lovers, for example, they might have fallen into love's deep spell. But if they were breaking apart, your blast of tidal energy would have riven them, destroyed their friendship. She pauses, and you feel the ticker of her mind on yours. Get out of my head! That's what happened, isn't it? They were not arguing for nothing. Yeah, I had sort of idly wondered about that, very briefly. Like, they seemed like they'd been friends and compatriots for years, and now they hate each other. Go see Melmoth. Ask him about the tides. When you've done that, we will speak further. Will you give me the Mirrorcaster after that? Perhaps, eventually. I must know that you will take responsibility when you hold Zarian's life, his history, in your hands. You will not have the Mirrorcaster until I am satisfied. Very well. Rin just said something.
What was the dearest talking about? The tides, I mean. Tides are a thing an ocean has, not a person. What did she mean?
They're an invisible force used them to stay alive. I don't actually know if that's true. Tides are something they use to control the world. I don't think so. They've used it exactly once. And that was to, like, learn a language. I don't really understand them myself, frankly. I just know that they're a part of how I stay alive. Adira says you use them to hurt people. Try not, but I can't always control them. I'm not sure about that. Not if I can help it, yeah? Nah. You're thinking about what Toll used to do to you, aren't you? She nods, her lips a tight line. The woman who stole me, Toll, used to do that to me. She said it helped her, that she'd kill a grown-up if she couldn't use me. She brings a hand to her mouth. She hurt me, made me feel sick, sad, and dying. I wanted to die a lot. That's why I ran away. I know it's none of my business, and I probably won't even know if you do it, but promise me you won't hurt anyone like that, ever. I just can't. Let's see here. I'm not gonna lie to her. It's not your business. Nah. I have no intention of doing so. But I think I would if I had to. Yeah, I'm not going to put the tool down regardless of what you think of it, sorry. I won't unless it's absolutely necessary, like to save your life, for example. She nods, her face serious. That makes sense. I'll accept that. Okay. Let's continue on. Now, did you guys have anything new to say? I wasn't sure.
This place. Bits and pieces here and there. Never thought I'd set boot in it, especially since I'm not.
He traces a rough outline of a cast-off's tattoo over his unadorned skin. You don't look like you're worried. Well, no, Tiber says, and clasps you on the shoulder. I have an escort. I'm officially a friend of the family. So what do you think of Mylevest so far? Cold, isn't it? Temperature and the reception. He shakes his head. You'd think people in a place this hard to reach would be friendlier. Actually, I don't agree. People in a place this hard to reach are here on purpose, because they're not interested in meeting other people. And Eridus.
What a wonderful place. I'm almost glad they're not fighting their endless battle here. Everything would get all, bloody and burnt.
Yeah, that would definitely ruin the ambience. I agree, he says seriously. And that's me, Eridus, saying that. I normally don't approve of peace. It's too peaceful. Well, this is a pretty happy place. Alright, so I think I'm going to poke at things and then talk to people. Yeah, here's Melmoth.
Fair enough.
I enjoy poking at things I don't understand. Oh, and a trader. Let's poke at things first.
All right.
The wind around this structure is oddly moist, and there's a smell you can't identify. An unfamiliar meat, perhaps, spoiling in sunlight. And there is something else, an acrid, silent tingling hanging in the air, the feeling of power, held in reserve. You reach out to touch the sloping side, but hesitate. Strange. The surface is smooth, inviting even, and yet your instincts tell you that something within the structure wants you to touch it, to come inside, to yield and fall to the earth, exposing your softest parts to... You stumble back, shaking your head. Yeah, you don't want to do that. None of us are sure what it is, or why the first left it behind. I think it's a last-ditch defense against the sorrow if everything else fails. Others say different. Feels nasty enough, though, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and not touch anything that does that. What else do we have to poke at? Is that noise Eridus' glow? Oh, maybe it is. But it's not there all the time. I wonder what's going on with that. Ooh, this enormous tower jutting out of the ground looks like a weapon or an antenna of some kind. It makes a soft hissing sound and smells faintly of yeast. Tasty. Maybe it makes beer. Okay. Anything else I can poke at? It looks dark and cool inside this inviting structure. Unfortunately, the door is locked. I could fix that, but I just got here. Ooh, here's a thing to poke at. This is nice looking. It's a little monolith or stele or something. This monument tapers to a narrow point. From a distance, the obelisk appears several meters tall, but when you stand at the foot of it, some kind of optical illusion makes it look as though the obelisk keeps going, rising, narrower and narrower into the wide sky. Poke it. The moment your fingertip touches the dagger-like stone, your mind is seized by cold fingers and hurled high into the air. Shreds of clouds whip past, stars streak by you, and you are lost in the void. Ahead, a light blooms, threaded with silvery ribbons of time. You plunge into the light, and a vision of the future unfurls. You see yourself asleep, bundled in blankets, snoring loud enough to tear holes in the sky. Also, you're drooling. That sounds like me. The prophetic light fades, leaving you standing before the obelisk once more. You study the obelisk, frowning. Although the vision felt true, it hardly seemed to have been worth all the effort. Perhaps touching it again will yield different results. Let's find out! My mind plunges into the open sky, into the waiting light that holds visions of the future. You see yourself watching the horizon with a thoughtful expression. Nope, wait, it's just a sneeze. I love this thing. This is the best. One more time. Sleeping. So it shows you the truth, but only totally stupid things about the future. That's awesome.
At last.
Ah. Alright. Let's go talk to the vendor quick.
Why not?
Always interested in vendors. Look at this, Lady Anshi declares. Our wayward brother in the flesh. She spreads slender hands. Delicate spider webs of metal threads run through her fingers, studded with circular nodes that look too purposeful to be mere jewelry. The name's Anshi, she says. Lady Anshi, but don't let that scare you off. I sell rare Numenera and a place to rest at a fair price. I can also upgrade certain clothing and equipment, but that's a bit more expensive. She gives you an assessing eye. I'll take a look at what I've got, she adds more quietly. My prices are high, but you look like someone who values your friends, and my work will help keep them safe. She clasps her ornamented hands together with a clink. So, what do you need? So, do you got a lot of business here in Mile of Est? Well, put it like that, no, she says, grinning. And it's certainly not normally me doing the selling, not like I used to. In normal times, I'm treating major customers to fancy dinners, yelling at my advisors, and sneaking in the odd bespoke order before more paperwork lands on my desk. But these aren't normal times. People are saying the Sorrow's on the hunt again. I don't know if it's true, but better safe than sorry. So, instead of passing the time arguing like everyone else around here, I'm back to being a humble merchant, she winks. For now. That's interesting. So your name is Lady Anshi? Are you royalty? Ha, she says, only in a technical sense. A few years back, I did a favor for the type of person who can spin titles out of thin air. I told her I only wanted the money, but she insisted. She shrugs. So, Lady Anshi. It's opened a few stubborn doors over the years, but other than that, I don't wave it around much. Alright. So you don't seem upset that I opened this portal into Mile of Est. She says that's 'cause its closing wasn't necessary to begin with. These shields are good enough. She rolls her eyes. Our brothers and sisters worry too much. Must run in the family. So what's up with all these wires in your hands? Inventions of mine, she says. Cobbled together from parts, of course, like everything. These beauties are wired, well, not really, but you know, into my head. I use them to build and fix things that are really, really small. She beams at her hands. I've had them almost as long as I've been alive. That's neat. So one of my companions is troubled by demons of some kind. Do you know anyone who could help him? She looks immediately at Eratus, who brightens, literally and figuratively, at being noticed. Can't say I've seen something like this before, she murmurs. And none of us are doctors, sorry to say. Interesting. So, is the endless battle bringing you a lot of business? I don't know, she says carefully. I don't take sides or opinions on that conflict. Bad for business, sides. I agree, yep. Can I take a look at your Numenera, please? So what do we have here? A mystic marble. Summons a wisp that attacks a nearby enemy. Oh, neat. This dark glass sphere shows flashing, swirling colors beneath the surface that respond to your touch. As you watch the colors shift and swirl, you can sense the barely constrained power held by the glass container. That's neat. Impressively labeled canister. Converts all damage to energy. And 50% movement speed. Oh, that's interesting. Although the ancient... Let's see here. Plus 15 evasion. Now, I still don't know if this is plus 5 damage taken or given. I need to look that up. Hold on. Grab my notepad. 5 damage in red. Okay. I gotta look that up. Even though this round tin is some forgotten past, the label is bright and pristine. Archaic script swims around it, shimmering and melting into truth. Feeling limp in your lockets, Chemmy? Weak in the tethers? When you're too tired to scrap, reach for this freshly sealed canister of Dylan Pugh's patented bounding. Direction. Open a can. Repeat as needed. Possible side effects. May encourage you to break faces and save the day. Can result in severe injury or death. Please do not use with the slightest bit of caution, as that would completely ruin the point of our product. If you're still breaking faces after 4 hours, consider yourself lucky. Well, if I need a can of whoop-ass, I know where to come get it. Blood of the Elements. Permanent +1 resistance. A shimmering substance fills this ordinary glass vial, existing in many states at the same time. Sometimes it is a blue liquid or a lump of black solid, before subtly becoming purple electrified plasma or a pure white gas. Every phase is so quick, so short, it is impossible to be sure if the change is real, if the substance exists in every state at once, or if it even exists at all. There is a small inscription around the edges of the vial's cork, and the letters fading in and out of view as if engraved on a similar substance. It possibly, maybe spells out blood of the elements? One can only what would happen if someone were to consume a substance such as this. For 159, let's find out. Neat. Chuckling Shroud. Resistance and will. Oh, a cloak made of fine tendrils that rub together, producing a sound like a human chuckling. The sound is a carrier for a stream of mental energy that swirls around the wearer, shielding them from different types of attack on the mind. That's interesting. What's our current one? True resistance. And I get plus 5 or 15% evasion. Nah. Spray flash, good to know. Verith. You recognize this artifact. It is called Verith, or Wisdom Chained, and it is one half of the artifact known as the Shadow Ring. You recall that this artifact belonged to a cast-off, although their identity escapes you. You remember only that the changing god himself sundered this ring at the height of a cold rage, and infused each half with mutually repellent energies. They've been separated from each other ever since. The changing god went through immense trouble to separate these two rings. It must be possible to reunite them. Hello! Oh, this is exciting. Sting Charge. No, wait. Is that what I have? Yeah, okay, sorry. Heavy melee, 10 plus 10. Ooh! This jagged runelite script, etched into the gray-black blade, is a deep red hue. Any eye that lingers too long on the strange letters are rewarded at first with discomfort, and then with ever-increasing pain, rather than any measure of understanding. Upon touching the weapon for the first time, it grants an image of a long-lost, wondrous place, imbuing a sense of smoldering betrayal and tremendous loss. The immense power of the blade is self-evident, but the havoc and pain it brings to foes stay with it, and its bearer has a lingering cloud of guilty remembrance. So, heavy melee, 10 plus 10. What's Eridus rolling with? 8 plus 7. This is hugely better than his axe. 8 and 7, and plus 1 to 3. And this is 10 plus 10, and plus 2 up to 8. It's incredibly better. Oh wow, it's expensive. Okay, we're probably going to get that, but I'm going to hold off for the moment. Outworn Buckler, plus 15% evasion. This simple wooden buckler, stained green, would not be out of place in a pile of surplus training shields. 2 black iron straps form an X shape across it. It looks like it's taken more than its share of weapon blows, and it may have been in use for far too long. Protection of the weary to all allies. Oh, that's interesting. What do we have in offhands? Can anyone else use an offhand? I don't think Rin can because she sucks. Eridus can't because he's using a two-hander. Now this shield is pretty terrible. It's only 133. Yeah, we'll think about that for a second. Living Exuvia. Plus 5 armor, plus 3 resistance, minus 3 to might, speed and esoteric, and once again... Okay, I think plus 5, this red is damage done. This biological armor is form-fitting and easy to wear, yet offers superior protection. Upon closer inspection, you find a synth-steel device shaped much like a human spine fitted into the back of the exuvia, which binds to the wearer's nervous system. It provides additional mental fortitude, but it also makes the armor stiffer and harder to wear. Nah. Once again, it drives me crazy that I can't buy stuff for my other people. I have plus 2 and 3, and this is what? Plus 5 and 3? Nah. Okay, another sting charge. Slug spitter, but that's medium, unfortunately. Okay, yes. Concentrated spray flash. Let's see here. Great axe. It's as crude as it is effective. A long haft increases both its range and power. The edge of the axe is well honed and sharp. Nah. Child's Grace. Plus 1 in persuasion. Oh, a maggot ringed with gold and silver. lies within this glass veil. Placing the creature underneath one's tongue fills a user with a sense of calm and somewhat naive purpose. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. Plus, I'm already plenty persuasive. Okay, alright, so, first off, what were the two things I bought? I bought the ring. What else did I just buy? How have I already forgotten? I bought that thing that gives me like +1 resistance, didn't I? Where'd it go? Come on. How well hidden can it be? Oh yeah, I forgot about that thing. Battle axe, dagger, battle axe, braces, enigmatic sphere, mirrorcaster. Was I selected on someone else when I bought it? Okay, I did buy that, didn't I? I probably already scrolled past it. Like, twice. Okay. Here's Vareth in the Mirrorcaster. Oh yeah, this weird little guy. Where did that go? Did I use it instantly? This is the last time I'm looking through this, by the way. Oh yeah, these rings of entanglement. I've never used those. Okay, well, I'll go back and look at the video and see if I can figure out what happened there. So, let's go ahead and let's combine these together. You pull the first ring fragment from your bags. At first, it looks like you've misplaced the second. Then, you find it pressed into a fold at the exact opposite end where you found the first one. You reach down to grab it, but you find that you can't. The fragments reject each other with a force beyond magnetism alone. You pick up the second one with your other hand and hold them in opposing palms. So let's look at Vareth carefully here. You hold the ring fragment to your eye. The fragment's edges are rough, as if sundered by a mighty strike, but on one end you can still see a socket that might have fit a gemstone or something else. You weigh the other ring fragment in your hand. The fragments feel like they should match somehow. The protrusion and socket clearly fit. It is as though they cry out to be joined. Just wanted to take a look at this again. Okay, let's do it. Pinching the fragments together between thumb and forefinger, you struggle to bring them together. The force repelling them is not magnetism. It's almost as if someone is holding your hands apart with impossible, contemptuous strength. Nonetheless, there must be a way to join the rings. You just haven't found it yet. Huh. Do I do it by brute force, or do I wait until I get the specialized skill? Let's wait until I get the skill. Smashing away at things is not always a good idea. Okay. This is really bugging me that I can't find that stupid thing that I just bought. I did buy it, didn't I? Let's double check. Yes, it's definitely gone. Huh. Okay, I just said I'm going to stop doing that. Okay, so she mentioned upgrades. Sure thing, she says, but in case I wasn't clear before, I can't do much with what you're wearing. It's pretty good as is. She scratches her chin. Her friends, on the other hand, I can help. Yes! So, what can you do for Eridus? This is where we get their armor. I don't need upgrades, he declares outraged. Then he falters. Do I? You might, Anne, she says, frowning as she examines your companion. Let me take a look at your doublet and undershirt. I could do something with slits, possibly slits, maybe vents. Oh, for 75 shins? Yeah, do it. Absolutely. Good, she says, lacing her wire-strung fingers together. Hold still, please. Do I have to, he says, but offers you a smile as the threads of his clothes begin to move of their own accord. Thank you, my friend. So what did we get? 7 armor. Excellent. Eridus' undershirt is poorly matched to the rest of his outfit. He's knotted his belt across it in a way that he would undoubtedly describe as dashing. Lady Anshi adjusted Eridus' shirt to offer limited protection to blasts of raw energy. Nifty! That was only 75. Oh, and a new doublet. +3 resistance, +15 evasion. Eridus' quality doublet is of a simple cut. He wears it over a frumpy, mismatched shirt. No matter how much he spins, leaps, or rolls around, the doublet remains spotless. Despite its casual appearance, it offers him protection. The Lady Anshi modified Eridus' doublet so that it provides significantly improved shielding. Awesome! Yeah, why don't you hit Tiber too? Me? Why me? He says, and then sniffs himself. No. You do laundry too? Not even a little, she says, studying your companion with a critical eye. His sark and mantle are a bit clumsy. I could finesse the rough edges. Minor work, but cost you 130. Yeah, you betcha. As good as done, she says, cradling a fist in her glowing palm and murmuring under her breath. The light swells. Tiber arches an eyebrow at you as his armor begins remaking itself. If I end up naked at the end of this, you have only yourself to blame, and if not, well, thank you. Alright. Ooh, +5 armor, +3. This loose-fitting shirt belongs to Tiber. It offers limited protection, but it makes him look dashing and roguish, and that's what really matters. Lady Anshi treated the material of his shirt to make it more functional, more protective. More importantly, she didn't ruin its looks. Excellent. And his mantle, +5, +20. Ooh. Tiber's cloak is made of a high-quality and remarkably colorful cloth. It has numerous small tools sewn into hidden pockets, in case he needs them in a pinch. Lady Anshi imbued the mantle with invigorating energies. Cool! How much would Rin cost? I'm not interested in her. What? Rin says, jumping. What's wrong with my clothes? Nothing, Anshi says, smiling down at her. But I can make a few changes to your jacket and shirt. Nothing fancy or heavy, just a few things you'll like. She looks up at you. 105 shins. Neither of you will be disappointed. Yeah, I'm going to upgrade all of them because I've got good stuff and they're still stuck with their crapping starting gear. Let's do it. All right, she says, pressing her palms together. A warm line traces the edges of her joined palms. This feels incredibly odd, Rin says, staring down at her shifting clothes, but not in a bad way. She gives you a nervous smile. Thank you. So your shirt is 3 + 6. Wow. Rin's shirt is made from a coarse material in a simple cut, dyed an unappealing gray. Lady Anshi modified the shirt to hold various hidden pockets in its lining, allowing Rin quick access to various handy tools. Nice. +40% evasion. Holy cats. Rin's jacket is practical and light, a simple gray piece of fabric. The cloth looks inexpensive and roughly cut, but it fits her well. Lady Anshi modified the jacket, lining it with an unknown material, significantly improving its protective capabilities. Wow. Okay, let's look at your guys' stuff real quick here. Nice. So 743. Oh wow, 75% evasion. Holy crap. Good. So she's not going to get hit anymore. 7 armor, 3 resistance. 60% evasion. Eee. I mean, yes, that's great. All right. Well, that was money well spent. That was not terribly cheap. How much did that end up with? Yeah, it spent almost half my money, but
Of course we can.
really it's worth it because they
Right
have
on.
needed new gear. I'm going to seriously consider that buckler, and I really want that axe for Eridus. I just have to decide if they're the best use of my money at the moment. But I've spent a long time here staring at clothes and trying to decide what to do. So we're going to go ahead and make a cut here, and thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.